Well, Donald Trump left out a little something from that 18-minute rant, that unhinged, deranged, yelling scream fest at the American people last night to order them to love him for his economic success none of us are experiencing. The thing he left out is that this morning they were going to be announcing a huge multi-billion-dollar transaction where the Trump media company, Truth Social, if you will, is merging with a nuclear fusion company worth billions and billions of dollars to the Trump family. Didn't benefit you and I. The company that they're merging with into a 50-50 joint venture, TAE Technology, is a Google Alphabet-backed entity that's in the nuclear fusion business. And they're also backed, besides by Google, by Chevron, by Goldman Sachs, by a bunch of family offices all got together. And now Donald Trump is in business with them. So yay, you and I are suffering under the highest unemployment since COVID, the highest inflation since well before Joe Biden, food prices that are through the roof and skyrocketing, a job picture that's abysmal, stock market that is in flux at best, and Donald Trump just got $26 billion or so in this new transaction. Now, look, here's how you break it all down. If Donald Trump is yelling and screaming at you to love him more about the economy, like a version of the beatings will continue until morale improves, you can sure bet that that was done as a distraction because he was about to make a big jackpot investment or have a lot of money coming into the family businesses. And that's exactly what just happened. I'm Michael Popak. You're on the MeidasTouch Network. Here, let's talk about this new merger and the things that were left out last night. I don't know if you caught what happened last night. Let me just show you I'd say the angriest portion of it, but this was a guy that looked like he came in after somebody just told him that his dog was run over in the driveway and that he was also double parked and somebody was about to write him a ticket. That was the mentality of this completely deranged and unhinged speech. Is that what it was? The only thing good about it is he stayed on message, whatever that was supposed to be. I hate Americans. I'm here to crush your hopes and dreams for Christmas. Because he held steady to the teleprompter, which seemed to be moving slightly faster than he wanted it to. And he did it in 18 minutes or less. Boom. Other than that, well, watch for yourself. Here's a clip.
We're putting America first and we are making America great again. Very simple. We are making America great again. Tonight, after 11 months, our border is secure. Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected and our country is back stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. Soon we will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got. But most importantly, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. There could be no more fitting tribute to this epic milestone than to complete the comeback of America that began just 1 year ago. When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens, faithful to its workers, confident to its identity, certain to its destiny, and the envy of the entire globe. We are respected again like we have never been respected before. To each and every one of you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you all.
So it went downhill from there. Trust me. You don't have to you don't have to watch the whole 18 minutes. But again, it demonstrates that Donald Trump is completely out of touch with the American people. There's a reason for that. He never leaves the White House or Trump properties. He moves from one Trump golf course to the next. He doesn't like to meet with the common man, if you know what I mean. He only meets with the common billionaire and trillionaires. He doesn't take meetings with Congress, who represent the American people, or with average citizens ever. He doesn't like to travel that way. They keep him in one hermetically sealed bubble to the next, his handlers. He only feeds on artificial adulation that comes from phony rallies, and nothing says I'm out of touch with the American economy and all I'm worried about is my own bank account, like this new multi-billion-dollar nuclear fusion merger for his company. You can tell he doesn't have his eye on the American economic ball. His eye is off the ball. He's worried about his own money and how to make the most money. But you can tell somebody's completely out of touch. You know, it's the guy that throws the Great Gatsby party. Might as well have been a Marie Antoinette let him eat cake party at Halloween while he's building a golden ballroom during the shutdown when everybody's suffering. And then he goes and gives an economic speech last week to kick it all off in a casino in Pennsylvania, in a casino. Look, his economy's come up craps for the rest of us. So I just find it's so galling that he looks the American people in the eye while he's yelling at them in bellicose fashion last night. And he says, besides love me more, he doesn't say, hey, by the way, you know who's doing really great in the Trump economy? Me, Donald J. Trump, your president. And I'm about to announce tomorrow this tremendous deal on nuclear fusion. Now, here's where that link comes in. There's a link between social media platforms, AI, electricity needs, power needs, and nuclear fusion. Because all this race with China on artificial intelligence requires a lot of power. And we're kind of running out of the ability to generate electricity. I mean, coal only goes so far. Wind, Donald Trump hates it. Solar, he doesn't understand it. So what are you left with besides hydroelectric? You're left with, if you get rid of wind and solar, and coal is not that great, fossil fuel generation of electricity and cogeneration. What are you left with? Well, you got to look to nuclear. Now, there was a big breakthrough in about 3 years ago in the nuclear fusion area using lasers, and it unleashed a tremendous amount of power, which this company believes it can harness, put into a reactor, back to a nuclear reactor, everybody. Think 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania 50 years ago. And do nuclear fusion, which will generate a lot of power. The power gets hooked up to the grid. The grid gets used to generate all the power needs for artificial intelligence through all of those supercomputers. That's where this is all going. Cryptocurrency, tremendous power needs. Artificial intelligence, tremendous power needs. You got to plug it in somewhere, and that's where nuclear fusion comes in. So it's sort of a side bet, if you will, that it's the infrastructure that supports ultimately, it can support ultimately the power needs of artificial intelligence, social media, and the rest. That's why Google, Alphabet, and all is, put up the seed money for TAE technology. TAE technology is now merging with Truth Social, DJT, and they're going to do a merger in the first quarter of next year. It's going to be run by Devin Nunes, who's a former congressperson with Donald Trump and the head of TAE. It's going to be a 50-50 joint venture in this way. And looks like the Trump company's going to have to come up with several $100 million to kind of equalize the balance sheets here. But it's going to unleash billions and billions and billions of dollars for the Trump family at a time when Americans are suffering. Ever wake up sweaty, freezing, or just plain uncomfortable? The temperature in your bedroom can make or break your sleep. That's why I switched to Miracle Made sheets. They're inspired by NASA technology and use silver-infused temperature-regulating fabric to help you sleep perfectly all night long. With Miracle Made, you'll sleep at the perfect temperature. Whether you run hot or cold, these sheets keep you in the comfort zone from the moment you crawl in to the moment you wake up. And here's what I love. They stay cleaner longer. Thanks to their antibacterial silver technology, Miracle Made sheets stay fresh up to 3 times longer than regular sheets, meaning fewer odors, fewer wash cycles, and way less laundry. They're luxuriously comfortable too, smooth, breathable, and soft like what you'd find in a 5-star hotel, but without the luxury price tag. So upgrade your sleep or give the gift of better rest. Go to trymiracle.com/legalaf to try Miracle Made sheets today. You'll save over 40%. And when you use promo code LegalAF, you'll get an extra 20% off plus a free 3-piece towel set. They make an amazing gift. And with a 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk. That's trymiracle.com/legalaf, code LegalAF at checkout. Thanks to Miracle Made for sponsoring this episode. And I think that's the takeaway from all of this. I'm not saying, the guy his family shouldn't benefit from the fact that he's the American president, but his family shouldn't benefit from the fact that he's the American president, while the rest of us are suffering. Don't talk to me about 1776 checks to the military. Talk to me about why you should continue to be the president and draw a paycheck while you're not focused on the job. I mean, we've already had reporting that he goes to work at 11 or 12 and leaves at 5. He crushes the hopes and dreams of lots of people in a very short amount of time. The rest of the time, it's off golfing. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, hundreds of millions of dollars in golf at your and my expense. And he's not focused on being the president. He's done so much damage without being focused. It's scary to think if he did focus, but he's not focused because this administration, the lights are on and nobody's home. There's no executive function in the executive branch for Donald Trump anyway. There's no president. He's bored by most details of his job, unless it's putting on a red hat, saying Trump was right about everything and glad-handing and putting on a cowboy hat. He spends half his time putting on hats. He just met with the 1980 hockey team that won at Lake Placid for the U.S. against the Russians or whatever it was. And they're all wearing cowboy hats. I don't even understand that. But he has delegated the vast majority of presidential decision-making and executive function to Stephen Miller, who is our Secretary of Homeland Security, Minister of Homeland Security, everything internal security. You hate everything about the immigration policy, the Alien Enemies Act, the use of the National Guard, Stephen Miller. And everything else in domestic policy is Russ Vought, who's the head of Office of Management and Budget and the architect of Project 2025. Those, ladies and gentlemen, are your presidents. So when John Roberts and the MAGA 6 on the United States Supreme Court are so worried about not infringing on the power of the one person that occupies the executive branch, the president of the United States, we don't have one person that occupies the executive branch. We have at least 3. And really just 2, and their names are Miller and Vought. Think about that the next time you want to give even more power to somebody named Donald Trump. I'm glad you're here. You're on the MeidasTouch Network. I got some great news, everybody. We're about to roll the odometer on Legal AF YouTube. Now's the time to subscribe. We're going to go to 1 million in probably about a week. We're at 992,000 subscribers in about a year. That's all a testament to you. Chill down my spine. Thank you for all that you do. In the notes below is a link back to Legal AF YouTube for a free subscription. Hit the link. Help us be the 1 millionth. That'd be a fantastic holiday present. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popak. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.